Hello John Deere snowmobile fans. Figured I'd show you guys a little bit different video this time. Several of my videos have shown sleds that are totally restored, or maybe 3 or 4 of my videos show them totally nut and bolt restoration. There's a couple of guys in the comments I saw that were curious at the costs and how long does it take me to do one. Well, this one I've been working on since January. This is actually might even been December even. This is a 1981 John Deere Trailfire 440. It's a Kawasaki fan-cooled motor, obviously. So the amount of cost that I spend to put into one of these is, and the reason I don't restore sleds for other people is, one, if I was going to count labor to do one of these sleds, would be out of this world expensive. I mean, ridiculously expensive. So just in my powder coat costs alone, as I'm opening it up here, it's like Christmas morning here. I'm into the powder coating alone $1,000 on this sled. And I actually didn't do a muffler. I had one done. So like I saved some costs on what I needed powder coated a little bit because I had a couple pieces already done. So just in powder coating alone, there's $1,000. The cost of the crankshaft, to have the crankshaft on this motor redone, this here was $510 to deal with a brand new primary clutch from Comet. I just went that route because the original clutch on this sled is 6,000 miles, and 3 generations have ridden this sled. So I opted for the new reproduction, or I guess, yeah, reproduction is probably a good word. Comet 102C mod. So I went new weights and springs. I'm into that, probably $400 with weights and springs. Went through the secondary already, put new plastic bushings in it, painted the spring all up, hexavalent shivs, so they're all just like they're supposed to be when they were new. So I'm not really sure the cost on the shivs. I had a buddy of mine help me out with that. I got to figure out how we're going to even up on him yet, so I'm not really sure how that's going to go down, because getting somebody to do hexavalent is very hard to do. I was trying to find somebody locally to do it, but it doesn't sound like that's a very typical process to have done anymore due to cancer regulations and stuff like that, I believe. There is a major cost savings here is I have an NOS hood. So I got lucky. My grandfather purchased this hood new in '81. I don't know if it was for a sport fire that he had or for the thought of his Trailfire. He also purchased the bumper. So he had a front bumper and a hood that he has saved for 40 some years. And I'm going to put it on his sled, or it's actually my grandmother's sled. So it's the only sled that I own that has actually been in the family since it was brand new. So we're at, just with the clutches, the crank, the paint, call it $2,000 just for that. And we are a long way from a snowmobile. Then we start getting into stocking, finding an NOS top end. And I'm not even entirely sure what this cost me because there was some horse trading involved. I traded some NOS parts that I had to get some of these parts. I know for the NOS pistons, wrist pin bearings, wrist pins, rings, I paid, I want to say it was $280. And I can't even use the wrist pins because I got the wrist pin bearings because I got surface rust on them. So I don't even know if I can show you this. Yeah, this is one of them. You sure as heck aren't going to put that in a motor that you got NOS pistons in. But that's okay because I'm not mad about it. The stuff's 40 years old. It's in a bag. How's a guy supposed to know without opening the bag? But that's all right. So I went with opted for Wisco wrist pin bearings. So so you got $280 in it. So you're at call it $2,300 in just pistons, wrist pins. Now the cylinder, I got $100 in this cylinder here. I bought, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. The heads I already had. I'm into those real cheap because I bought them when Dennis Kirk was blowing them out. This cylinder here, I'm not sure what that cost me yet. I traded 2 Liquidator NOS heavy brake rotors they could use on Liquidator and Cross Country Liquefire and some other stuff. But I had 2 of those, so I traded that for that cylinder, but I know I still owe him more on that cylinder. So if he's watching this video, you got to come up with some kind of number that I owe you out on that, because I know I owe you something for it, and I greatly appreciate you, the help of you helped me out with that cylinder. You knew I was down that side for NOS parts. I found an NOS speedometer. I'm into that. I think $65. So where does that put us at? Roughly $2,500. Sorry if my math's off, because I'm just kind of quick spitballing here. NOS drivers, I think I'm into these, I think $20 a piece. So, whatever that math comes out to on that. We got a pile of new old stock gaskets that I've had for a while, so I'm not into them much. E-Start kit, it's reproduction. I'm into that, $300. So I had a starter motor, thankfully, but with the kit and then the starter box, I think that was $300. So I think we're right around like $2,800, I want to say, right now on just parts. And we're still a long ways. I mean, we haven't even bought a graphics kit. A graphics kit will usually run you $300. So now you're at $3,100. And this doesn't even count all your little trinkets like your bearings and for all your wheels and your slides, your high facts, the bushings in the back suspension, the shocks in the front. I mean, the two ski shocks up front are $100 a piece. I have those. I bought those from New Breed Deere. This is the original track. It's got 6,000 miles on it, but it's starting to delaminate. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use it yet or not. Pardon my chaos over here. I'm kind of laying things out over here on this back shelf, and things are kind of looking rough. That's high facts in that yellow wrap. I got a new old stock fan shroud guard, if you want to call it that, this plastic guard. And then band clamp, new old stock, stock fan shroud. I'm into that. I can't remember what I paid for that. Was it $280 or was it $200? I don't remember what I paid for that. So I might be into that. I might be into the sled right around $3,500 now if I'm still totaling that up. I have to go back in my receipts. We already counted the clutch parts with the clutch. 2 shocks. I mean, I think I said they were $100 if I remember right, $55 a piece or something like that. New Mikuni choke cable or choke plunger, sorry. Motor mounts, brand new. Those are like $55. We got a new fuel pump. That's $50. This is all $60 for a genuine Mikuni one. Fan. We got fuel pump, in-tank stuff. Call another $30. Bushings, these are like $30 now for ski insulators. I mean, in parts alone, by the time I even start putting this together, and I'm sure there's unevaluated costs I haven't figured out yet. Like, if your sled needs a windshield, that's another $150 if you want a sport windshield. But if you want like a Kimpex, then it's only like $70 or $100. But if you want a short sporty, the reproduction ones are like $120 or $130. But by the time you ship it, you're at $150. And if you need a seat reupholstered, I'm going to get lucky with this sled. I think I was able to save this seat with automatic transmission fluid in a hot summer day. I was able to stretch it back out to the boards. So I think I'm going to save that. The other problem I'm going to struggle with is I have to locate one good TPR panel. I have this side's good, but the opposite sides are all broken. Every one I have is broken. So I have to try to find, if I was sitting on the sled, left-hand side one that's not ripped or tear. Obviously, I got to clean these up. You can't put these back on like this. After I take a Dawn dish soap rag and I scrub these down, they'll clean up really nice. And then I'll have to wet sand this tunnel out and then buff this tunnel. This can be a overwhelming job. You got to take it in sections. You can't take it in one shot. And just take your time on it. I mean, this is the way I've always done it when I restore one. But as I was saying, to restore one of these for somebody would be exponentially ridiculous, and I wouldn't want the liability as well. I like things to look a certain way, and people like to save costs on things, and I'd rather have a project take 2 years and when it's done, be done, and not have to stick another penny into it, hopefully, for another 5 years before you really, after riding it, because this sled will get ridden. I don't go through the trouble of locating all these parts not to hear it run. And I'm hoping to let my grandma see it totally complete yet because she's still alive, and I'd like to get her to see it totally done with her John Deere jacket that she still has from when she used to ride this sled when it was new. So, but yeah, it's an expensive process, and figured that you guys would appreciate seeing a middle of the road. Usually I show it when it's done. And I thought, maybe on this sled it's time I show one in the middle so that you guys see the process of what I go through. And I know there's some great guys that watch these videos already who have done this. They've totally restored this, so they know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the cost of all these parts and how much it costs to do a sled. So they're fully aware. But I mean, I'm sure this project, I'll be into this thing probably in parts and alone, not counting any time. I'll probably be right around $4,200 or better. And I got lucky with the bumper and the hood, which are usually huge costs because to get a hood down is really expensive. But so hopefully you guys appreciate this video. I might have to make another video when I start assembling it, maybe when I start putting it together, and show kind of how things are coming along. And hopefully this will give you guys a feel of what it takes. And you can't look at it that you're going to do one of these things overnight. I got this idea. I've done a couple of them. I thought I could do a Trailfire, and I figured 2 months I could spin a Trailfire around. And yeah, we're on month like 4 or 5 now, so my ambition kind of got down on me here. So I'm trying to get myself back in gear and get this sled done. It's got to be done before the snow flies, though. I got to see this thing totally complete and running while the weather's somewhat nice. So that way when I get snow, I can do a little testing to it. And if I don't have something right with the carburation, which I shouldn't have any problems. These Trailfire's halfway decent, so they're pretty simple compared to a liquefier, so they should be pretty fun. And if you're going to do a liquefier, if you're wondering what the cost is usually on that, just a little piece of tidbit for the 84 liquefier that I last did. Just my cost and parts and material, I looked back at the receipts, was $7,100. And that's no labor. That was me having to pay a guy to paint the hood because I can't paint. I was paying to have the crankshaft on. I was paying to have a seat upholstered. And then I paid a guy to do the powder coating. And after that, I went hog wild. I put the motor together myself, and I did pay a guy to do a TR800 on that sled too, just because I've done them before. But the guy that I paid on that sled, when he's done with it, I mean, it's done. I mean, it's next. There's nothing better. I mean, it's worth the money. But you got to go into it with the understanding that you got to be okay with taking your money and putting it in the middle of the garage floor and lighting it on fire and walking away from it going, it was worth it. But thanks again. I hope you guys all take care, and I hope you're all doing well.